People really don't know what their expenses will be because they don't know how long that they're going to live.
Americans are worried they won't have enough saved for retirement now more than ever.
Retirement is going to cost, for many folks, over $1 million.
Is no sure thing in investing, but a lot of people think that annuities may come close to that.
It's going to more safe things that they know. If they know they're going to need that money to supplement their retirement, well, then you can't play that risk.
This is the Safe Money and Retirement Show with Jon Heischman Sr., founder and partner of Heischman Financial Services, serving the Columbus and surrounding areas. Jon specializes in educating pre-retirees and retirees about safe money strategies and ideas. Now, it's the Safe Money and Retirement Show. Here's Jon Heischman Sr.
Good morning and welcome to the Safe Money and Retirement Show. I'm your host, Jon Heischman. I'm glad you're joining me. If you're new to the show, first time tuning in, my objective is to give retirement planning ideas to you, to work with you and help you to have a better retirement. This morning, I'm going to talk about Roth IRA conversions. But before I get started, I want to give you the number to call for additional information or questions, or if you'd like to schedule a no-cost, no obligation meeting with me. That number is 888-426-0177, 888-426-0177. We can schedule a meeting at my office or even your home, whatever is most convenient. All right, conversions over to a Roth IRA. It's been pretty popular over the last year or so because I think primarily tax rates are low, and that makes it attractive to convert because when you do convert, there's going to be tax that has to be paid for the conversion amount, whether it's a partial or if it's a full. So basically, a traditional IRA may be converted to a Roth IRA with no time or income restrictions. Pre-tax dollars are subject to ordinary income tax at the time of conversion, but are not subject to the 10% early withdrawal penalty, even if you're under age 59 and a half. If a withdrawal of converted IRA funds is made from the time the Roth account subsequent to the conversion, but before 5 years has elapsed, such a withdrawal is subject to a 10% penalty. Why would someone want to convert to a Roth? Because they're going to have tax-free income sometime during retirement. But you don't want to and you can't convert to a Roth IRA and then turn around after the contract is issued and start withdrawing money. There's that 5-year time period. So really, the younger you convert, the better, because it's money that you shouldn't need until retirement or later in retirement. So assets may be converted to a Roth IRA from that traditional IRA, an SEP, or a simple and qualified plans. The ability to convert is not restricted by age. Anyone can convert to a Roth at any time. If non-deductible IRA contributions are involved, then a ratio of non-deductible IRA contributions to the total value of all IRAs must be used. In other words, what I mean by that, one cannot just convert the non-deductible contribution amounts. There is no 10% penalty tax on conversions if you're under age 59 and a half. So should you convert all or maybe just a portion of that traditional IRA to a Roth IRA? When I have a meeting with a client or a potential client, the first thing we have to look at, should you convert? Is it in your best interest? What is the estimated cost going to be for that conversion? In other words, if you're in the 20% tax bracket, let's say, how much is it going to cost you to convert to a Roth IRA, because that's what it's going to cost you? And I think that's the big reason that everyone doesn't convert to a Roth, is because of that tax bill. It's going to put you in a higher tax bracket, potentially, but that's what we have to look at. And there's been situations, as a matter of fact, last year, I recommended to a potential client not to convert, but she wanted to convert part of her IRA. So we figured what the potential tax was going to be. Is it going to put her in a higher tax bracket? Then determine the amount of a partial conversion, because a lot of individuals will convert 20% per year for 5 years, for example, to lessen the tax burden. And typically that might be somebody in their late 50s or early 60s, and they're not going to retire until mid or late 60s. But again, when the time comes that you can withdraw that money, it's tax-free. That's the advantage. Oh, and also, Roth IRA money going to a beneficiary is non-taxed as well. And of course, we want to consider whether the client has the cash to pay the tax that's going to result from the conversion, or if they will have to liquidate another account and possibly incur a 10% early withdrawal penalty, or maybe even a transfer fee. Those with a lot of cash and can afford to pay the tax that's going to come due at the end of the year that you convert is usually the best way. And also along with that, I like to explore other opportunities to help lower your AGI for that year. And some of these possibilities could include increasing contributions to a qualified plan, or bunching, meaning itemized deductions from surrounding years, taking capital losses and contributing to a health savings account, or even a flexible spending account. Today, there are several companies that will offer an interest bonus if you convert over to one of their Roth IRA plans. In many cases, that interest bonus that you're going to receive will be equal to the tax or help to cover the tax for the conversion. And I have a lot of people that are taking advantage of that because that bonus helps to cover the tax that needs to be paid. But we have to keep in mind that's only if it works for them, if that's in their best interest. you have to look at what are you going to convert to. What I try and do is look at both options. If you're going to convert, should you convert to the IRA that you already have? Meaning you have an IRA, you want to convert to a Roth. Should you convert the funds from your existing IRA? Or should you open up a new account with your current advisor or another advisor using the converted funds? Again, which is best? That's what we have to look at. That's what I want to focus on, show you the options and what's best for you. 888-426-0177. That's the number to reach me. No cost, no obligation. I just welcome the opportunity to be able to help you. If you become a client, great. If not, that's fine too. We had the opportunity to meet, and hopefully I've been able to help you. 888-426-0177. For those of you that would like some information, possibly get more educated, study the strategy of Roth conversions, I do have information that is very consumer friendly, and I'd be happy to get that information to you. And I think it'll help you to kind of make that decision if you're thinking about doing it. And we want to keep in mind and think about, number one, the taxes that it's going to cost for the conversion, and compare that to the taxes you're going to save from taking a tax-free income for 10 years, 15 years, or 20 years. And usually it's definitely going to work out better to do the conversion and receive a tax-free income, which in retirement, we all wish our income was tax-free or tax-advantaged, because the income that's going to come, and you have to take at least the required minimum distribution from that traditional IRA, that's all taxed, and it's taxable to your beneficiary. I'm going to take a short break at this point, and when I return, I'll continue my discussion on Roth IRA conversions. In the meantime, write this number down. It's available for you to call 24/7, 888-426-0177. I'll be right back. Avoiding mistakes can save owners of IRAs, 401ks, and TSP plans, as well as other retirement plans, a fortune in taxes, penalties, fees, and loads. These potential mistakes are addressed in the free book entitled Top 10 IRA Mistakes. This is Jon Heischman from the Safe Money and Retirement Show, offering a complimentary copy by calling 888-426-0177. Again, that's 888-426-0177.
Welcome back to the Safe Money and Retirement Show with Jon Heischman. To contact Jon, the number to call is 1-888-426-0177. That's 1-888-426-0177. Once again, here's Jon Heischman.
I was discussing Roth IRA conversions. It may be a good idea for you, or it may not. And as I mentioned earlier in the show, it's something you need to look into and see if it's going to work for you. And based on the fact there's no cost or obligation, it makes it more beneficial for you to investigate those possibilities. I want to kind of go back to the advantage of the Roth IRA, whether you're thinking about starting one or you're going to convert a traditional IRA over to a Roth and continue to make contributions to that converted Roth. The main advantage of the Roth IRA lies in the tax-free treatment of distributions. And this is for the owner and the beneficiary. There is no deduction available for contributions to a Roth IRA. All contributions are made with after-tax dollars. I have a lot of clients that have both a traditional and a Roth. Most of them have done a Roth conversion. Others have started from scratch, but they do have an advantage from the standpoint there are options, especially if they're in a position where their income varies, their tax situation could be different in any given year. For example, in a year where the deduction is needed, contributions to the traditional IRA would make sense. On the other hand, in a year where the deduction isn't needed, estimated taxes are going to be low, make that contribution to a Roth. But in any event, in this case, there's options to cover each situation. Additional things to think about would be eligibility. And for example, in 2023, those individuals filing as single taxpayers with modified adjusted gross income up to $153,000 and married filers with modified adjusted gross income up to $228,000 are eligible to contribute to a Roth IRA. Those income limits will cover the majority of individuals within that income range. Another reason I like the Roth IRA, unlike traditional IRAs where distributions must start when the individual turns 73, Roth IRAs are not subject to mandatory required minimum distribution rules. Major advantage of Roth IRAs. Those that have Roth IRAs and traditional IRAs will now have the option to delay taking income from their traditional IRAs until age 73 because they have the option to take the income from the Roth IRAs. When I do an income plan and a client is in that situation where they do have both, it creates more flexibility as to when do they take income from which account. And of course, that's based on their tax situation each year. I like to have the ability to adjust. But in any event, at age 73, those traditional IRA plans, the minimum must be paid out. There is no choice. If there's no Roth IRA, then obviously we don't have that flexibility. But those in retirement or getting ready to retire, I really think that you at least should have a discussion with your planner about a Roth IRA and would a conversion to a Roth IRA be in your best interest. If you want a second opinion or you're not working with a retirement planner, give me a call. We'll discuss your situation. 888-426-0177. That number again is 888-426-0177. I want to talk about when does establishing a Roth IRA make sense. It can be advantageous for a number of people with earned income, including individuals who believe their current tax rates are lower than what they're going to be in the future. Couple of examples. Let's take a young person in an early level job, because chances are this person is going to be in the 12% tax bracket, give or take a couple percentages, due to their modest earnings. If their career progresses, this bracket could be up to 24 to 32%. In some cases, higher. They may prefer to pay taxes on the funds contributed now and receive a tax-free income later. How about anyone who suspects that the tax rates may change for the worse in the future? U.S. tax rates for middle and upper income earners are low when compared to the rates that we saw back in the 1960s and 1970s. So it just depends on future tax rates. But in any event, whatever that rate is going to be, we must keep in mind that ultimate benefit of a tax-free income. Another advantage would be an individual that is going to save for their first home. First-time homeowners, the unique ability to make an early distribution without a penalty makes a Roth IRA an even more attractive plan for accumulating a down payment. Another situation would be individuals wanting to pass on assets tax-free to their beneficiaries. In many cases that I've seen, this has a tendency to be more important for somebody in that situation than the conversion tax that would apply for converting to a Roth IRA. Because we need to keep in mind, I think the majority of money is what we call qualified money. That is IRAs, 401ks, 403bs, retirement accounts that have been rolled over to traditional IRAs. And if you have a 401k, for example, and it didn't have a Roth option, it has to go into an IRA. So my point being, majority of the people, the majority of their money is qualified, passing on to beneficiaries. They're the ones that will pay the tax on inheriting that qualified money. Therefore, if you inherit a Roth IRA and the 5-year holding period requirement is met, beneficiaries of the account can still receive tax-free distributions. Now, it's not unusual for me to see a situation where there are multiple traditional IRAs. And I'm sure many of you listening to this show have 2 or more traditional IRAs. If you're in that situation, consider converting one of those or part of one of those, because the factors to consider when establishing a Roth or carrying out a Roth conversion, it's going to vary depending on the individual. I can't stress that enough. The numbers have to be run. The overall picture of each individual, what other accounts do they have, has to be taken into consideration when you do a Roth conversion. So it's not like, hey, let's just convert to Roth and pay the tax and have the tax-free income later on. The need for tax diversification within the retirement plan could very well include a Roth IRA. Roth distributions, they're not counted for Social Security taxation or determining Medicare premiums. Very important thing to take into consideration. In summary, several points I want to make about Roth conversions. First, assets may be converted to a Roth IRA from traditional IRAs and other qualified plans. The ability to convert is not restricted by age. Anyone can convert to a Roth at any age. There is no 10% penalty tax on conversions if you're under age 59 and a half. I hope I've given you some ideas, something to think about for those that a Roth conversion may be beneficial. But once again, you need to find out, is it going to be good for your situation, both now and in the future? Let me know how I can help, or if you'd like more information about the Roth conversion, 888-426-0177. And I appreciate you taking the time this morning to listen to the Safe Money and Retirement Show. I look forward to hearing from you and hope that you'll join me next week at the same time and the same stations. This is Jon Heischman, your host. Be safe and enjoy the rest of your weekend.
The Safe Money and Retirement Show with Jon Heischman Sr. To get in touch with Jon, call 1-888-426-0177. That's 1-888-426-0177. For more information about Heischman Financial Services, visit their website, HeischmanFS.com. That's HeischmanFS.com. Join us again next time for the Safe Money and Retirement Show with Jon Heischman Sr.